Sheikh Hamdan's words were never just phrases carried by the wind. They were living poetry that settled into the hearts of those who listened. Each syllable held the weight of sincerity, spoken not as a ruler but as a man who understood the fragility and beauty of human existence. His voice became a lantern in the dark, guiding souls toward hope when despair threatened to consume them, reminding millions that true strength lies not in power, but in compassion. He spoke of love not as an ornament of life but as its very heartbeat, declaring that love is the bridge between hearts and the only language the universe truly understands. His expressions carried the innocence of a lover and the wisdom of a sage, painting images of a world where kindness outweighs cruelty, where humanity is not a forgotten virtue but the crown of one's character. Those who listened found themselves silently nodding, as if his words awakened truths they had always known but never articulated. When he addressed the fleeting nature of time, Sheikh Hamdan reminded the world that every sunrise was a gift, and every heartbeat a silent prayer answered. He urged people to live not in the shadow of regrets, but in the light of gratitude, for life was never measured in wealth or crowns but in the memories we leave behind. His verses made the world pause, as if the clocks themselves bowed to the timelessness of his wisdom. The beauty of his words lay in their honesty. He never spoke to impress, he spoke to heal. To the broken-hearted, he offered a balm. To the weary, he offered rest. To the lost, he offered direction. His words were not confined to the palaces of Dubai but traveled like birds across continents, perching in the hearts of strangers who suddenly felt less alone. To dreamers, he was a comrade. Sheikh Hamdan celebrated ambition as the flame that ignites the soul, urging the youth to never silence their dreams, for they are the whispers of destiny. He assured them that even if the world doubted them, faith in themselves was enough to carve miracles into reality. His voice became an anthem of perseverance that still reverberates in the hearts of those chasing visions bigger than themselves. In moments of reflection, he would speak of humility with a grace unmatched by any crown. He reminded everyone that no matter how high a man rises, he must never forget the ground beneath his feet, for greatness is meaningless if it is not anchored in humility. These words etched themselves into the conscience of millions, echoing like an eternal reminder that nobility is defined by character, not by thrones. His words on loyalty touched the deepest chambers of the heart. He compared loyalty to the roots of a tree, unseen but essential, and reminded people that betrayal, though common, should never overshadow the beauty of those who remain faithful. These lines became prayers in the hearts of lovers, friends, and families who sought reassurance that true devotion still exists in a fleeting world. Sheikh Hamdan's verses about nature were songs sung with the voice of the desert winds and the heartbeat of the sea. He described the desert as a teacher of patience, the sea as a mirror of depth, and the stars as silent storytellers of forgotten dreams. Every metaphor he crafted was not only poetic but spiritual, inviting people to see the sacredness woven into the fabric of creation. When he spoke of pain, he did not shy away from its sharpness. He reminded listeners that pain is not a punishment but a passage, a fire that purifies the soul to make it capable of greater love and greater resilience. These words became lifelines for those drowning in grief, teaching them to rise, to breathe, and to transform their scars into symbols of survival. He often revealed his heart's softness when he spoke of mothers. His words would tremble with reverence as he described a mother's love as the closest reflection of heaven one could ever experience on earth. To millions of mothers across the globe, his words became silent medals of honor, validating their sacrifices and illuminating the sacredness of their role. Perhaps the most unforgettable of his words were about destiny. He reminded the world that fate is not a chain that binds us but a path that reveals itself through choices, courage, and faith. He encouraged people to embrace uncertainty with trust, for within every twist of fate lies a hidden blessing waiting to bloom. Those words continue to echo in the hearts of those walking blindfolded into the unknown, finding courage in his wisdom. His words about unity were more powerful than speeches of politicians. He painted a vision of a world where differences are not divides but colors that enrich the canvas of humanity. To millions of souls across races, cultures, and beliefs, Sheikh Hamdan's voice became the melody of peace, a call for togetherness in a time where division threatened to consume the world. Even when he fell silent, his words lived on in the whispers of the wind, the rhythm of the waves, and the hearts of those who carried them forward. He did not need monuments, for his legacy was carved in the souls of people who still recite his lines like prayers. His words became eternal seeds of light, germinating in the darkest corners of the world. Sheikh Hamdan's timeless words remain a sacred echo, one that millions still hear whenever they close their eyes and listen with their hearts. They are not merely remembered, they are lived, guiding souls across generations. And as long as hearts beat, his voice will never fade, it will continue to resonate. A celestial hymn that proves words born of truth can never die. His words about love continue to be the most cherished among millions who still whisper them in silence. He often spoke of courage, not the kind that wins battles, but the courage to be vulnerable, to speak truth in a world built on pretenses, and to walk the path of righteousness even when it is lonely. He compared courage to a flame in the storm, fragile but unstoppable if nurtured with faith. These words gave strength to those who once doubted themselves, teaching them that real bravery lies in authenticity, not in conquest. Love, for him, was never a fleeting desire but the eternal language of the soul, a force that binds hearts even across distance and time. He said that love is the only wealth that grows when shared, the only treasure that shines brighter when given away. These words became vows for lovers across the world, and every time they are repeated, it feels as though his spirit stands among them, blessing their bonds. When Sheikh Hamdan reflected on friendship, he spoke with the tenderness of someone who valued bonds beyond the throne. He described true friends as mirrors of the soul, those who stand in silence yet speak volumes through loyalty. His words reminded the world that friendship is not measured by years but by the consistency of presence. Millions carry these lessons today, cherishing their own friendships as sacred treasures. He had an unparalleled way of speaking about silence. While others feared it, he embraced it, calling silence the guardian of wisdom and the cradle of truth. In his view, silence speaks when words fail, holding more meaning than the loudest voices. Those who remember his words often find peace in moments of stillness, realizing that silence itself is a gift, a language of the heart untainted by noise. To the youth of the world, he became a fatherly figure whose words guided them like stars. He urged them to write their stories with boldness, to never live as shadows of others but to shine with their own light. His poetry reminded them that failure is not the end but the raw material from which greatness is sculpted. Even today, young dreamers repeat his verses before taking steps into uncertain futures, carrying his wisdom as armor. He spoke of forgiveness with a tenderness that disarmed even the hardest of hearts. Forgiveness, he said, is not weakness but the highest form of strength, for it frees the soul from chains that hatred can never unlock. He painted forgiveness as the bridge back to peace, and those who embraced his words found themselves able to let go of grudges, allowing their hearts to breathe again. One of the most profound moments in his words was when he described destiny as a river. Some fight against its currents and drown, while others learn to flow with it and discover new horizons.